Greetings, I'm Zachary Hepner. Pleased to share this Dvar Torah with you for Parashat Vayakhel Pekudei. The connections between the tabernacle and the Genesis stories are many, replete with meaning, and many drashot have found many meaningful connections. There is one observation that goes unnoticed. Everyone asks, why is Vayaqhel a repetition of Teruma Tezaveh? To be pedantic, it's not a repetition. Teruma Tezaveh is the blueprint sent to Moses. Moses finally submits the blueprint to the contractor, Bezalel. Vayaqhel begins with Bezalel and enumerates everything Bezalel had accomplished. The real question is, why isn't the parasha condensed into a few verses like, Bezalel did the job, hooray? It's a good question, and again, the subject of many drashot. In the first Genesis story, mankind is yet a lacuna, part of the laundry list of creation. In the second Genesis narrative, mankind and his failings is a much more important theme. But it appears to me that there is yet a third repetition of Genesis and the tabernacle. In Parashat Pekudei, an even more terse repetition of the Mishkan is again elucidated, culminating with God's glory resting over the Ohel Moed, the tent of assembly. In Genesis 5, the creation story goes straight to the meat and potatoes. Zeh Sefer Toldot Adam. Mankind was created in God's image. To summarize, there are three Genesis stories, chapter 1, 2, and 5. Mankind is a main player in the second two. There are also three tabernacle descriptions, Teruma Tezaveh, Vayaqhel, and Pekudei. But, however, there's actually another tabernacle narrative. It's so brief, if you blink, you'll miss it. Following the Ten Commandments, there are three verses. I'll read the first verse. God wants an altar of Adamah, earth. And every place that you mention my name, I will come and bless you. With all the hullabaloo of the Mishkan, the pomp, circumstance, the donations and construction, it appears that the Almighty wanted a much simpler and yet humbler version for devotion. Adamah, the same word that resonates with Adam, Adam, from the Adamah. The verse that everywhere you mention my name, I will come and bless you, resonates with the final mentioning of the Mishkan in Pekudei, Exodus 39:43. Vayar Moshe et kol melacha, v'hinei asu otach, kasher tziva Hashem ken asu, vayavarech otam Moshe. Moses saw all the work was done, as God had commanded, and he blessed them. Multiple Genesis narratives, 3 by my count. Multiple tabernacle narratives, 3 or even 4 by my count. The Navardic version of Musar would bring its students closer to God by making them self-actualize in lowliness, in humility. A Mizbeach Adam, an altar of Adamah. The Slobodka version of Musar attempted to bring its students closer to God by uplifting them with a royal purpose or a magnificent tabernacle. It's no coincidence that 2 of the 5 opinions of what is the greatest klal b'Torah, principle of the Torah. Just on a side, one source is quoted by the Maharal and the Ein Yaakov, late 16th century sources. The second source is Breshit Rabbah 24 and Sifra Kedoshim, very old sources. Nonetheless, Ben Azai chooses the most important klal of the Torah from the third Genesis narrative, Genesis chapter 5. That man was created in God's image. The view of Rabbi Shimon ben Pazi, Matzinu pasuk kolel yoter v'hu et hakefes echad taseh v'boker v'et hakefes hasheni taseh ben harbayim, the daily consistency mentioned in the first tabernacle narrative. Ben Azai uplifts mankind by observing in whose image you have been creative. Rabbi Shimon ben Pazi lowers us. The show must go on. We are just a cog in the ever-moving gears of divine service, the lowly servant of the Almighty. Ben Azai and Rabbi Shimon ben Pazi, same goal, different pathways. To recap, The repetitions mentioned in Vayakhel Pekudei are not simply the milieu of ancient Near Eastern record keeping. It's careful linking of multiple Genesis narratives, 3 by my count, with multiple tabernacle narratives, 3 or 4 by my count. The very first mention of Mizbeach Adam, Mizbeach Adama, right from the start, the Torah is giving us a hyperlinking clue to the linked nature of creation of the world and Adam, to the nature of where God truly dwells. What does God want? God wants us. Wishing you a Shabbat Shalom.